Hey there, my name's Trish with Downey's Candle Company and welcome back to my channel. This week I'm going to be making a blueberry cobbler candle. This is week 17 in my series and it is a layered candle where I do a little bit of piping on top and put some blueberry embeds in there. I named it blueberry cobbler. If you want to see how I make this, please keep watching. So now we're ready to make these blueberry cobbler candles. The vessels that I'm using for this are the straight-sided Libbey jars. You can see on here I've marked out where I want my layers to be. I think that's about ½ an inch between each layer, and I'm doing 5. The fragrance oil I'm using is blueberry cobbler from the Flaming Candle. I'm using a blue candle dye. I also add some purple to it too, which you might see a little bit later. The wicks I'm using are CDN 5 wicks. I'm using my Wicks centering tools to install my wicks, and those I got from West Coast Sound, and they were made specifically for these jars. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my wicks in. Here is the mold that I used when I made the blueberries that I put on top of these, which you'll see at the end. And now you can see I pulled out the purple so that I could make it look a little more like a blueberry color. I'm adding my fragrance oil, and I used about 11% fragrance oil in this. And then I add my dye, and then I'm going to mix that around. And I like to test the color and add more dye if I feel it needs it before I start pouring. So I'm just going to pour these in, obviously, layers. I'll do the blue layer first, and then I end with the blue layer so that I can put the whipped wax on top, so it kind of looks like whipped cream. And so after I pour these in, I will put my wick stabilizers, I think they're called, on there to keep my wicks in the center of these jars. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour this whole layer, and then I will come back and we'll get ready to, you have to kind of let these dry or cool down in between. I also noticed with these layer type candles, the wax kind of shrinks a little bit as it cools down, it shrinks a little bit. And so you kind of have to heat gun the top of all of these to fill in that crevice right around the outside of the jar. Otherwise, which I learned when I made these, is the white that you're doing for the next layer will seep down into the blue layer, and the layers won't look nice and crisp. They might not always. Another thing I learned is to pour each layer at a lower temperature, because I was pouring them pretty hot. You know, I use virgin coconut soy wax, which you heat up to a little over 200, add the fragrance oil, and it's ready to pour. But when I was pouring these in at 200 degrees, it was melting the layer below it, so then the layers were kind of muddling together. So I also learned to pour these layers at a lower temperature. That way you will alleviate any muddling of the colors, and your layers are likely to look a little more crisp than they would otherwise. So you can see here I'm melting the top of these to just fill in any shrinkage on the side so that the next layer doesn't sink down. I'm just going to get all this done, and then we can move on to the next layer that we're going to do in here, which is going to be a white layer. So like I said, it's blue, white, and then blue is the 5th layer. Then I whip some wax up and make it look like whipped cream on the top, and then I'll add in a few of my blueberry embed. So you can see I did the first couple 2-3 layers so you could see what it's like, and then I just moved to the fun part, which is frosting it. So I got this, I pulled the oil out of the melter, added my fragrance oil to it, and you just have to be patient, and it just has to cool down over time. And I just, throughout the process of it cooling down, I just kept stirring it, because as you know, it cools down around the sides first and the middle is the last. So I just kept scraping down the sides until it got to a point where it was it was ready for me to whip. And then once it's whipped, it kind of really resembles buttercream frosting. And that's the type of consistency that you also want to whip these. So now I'm just going to frost the tops of these, and I chose to use just a round tip. It's a Wilton. I don't know what number it is, but it's just a Wilton round tip that I'm doing to go in and get all this frosting put on here. And you can see once I put this on here, then I will decorate it with the blueberries. And you can see also I pull the wick to the center, but you don't really need a wick stabilizer at this point because it's pretty much mostly going to stay in place, and just make sure you're centering it after you put the whipped cream on. So I'm just going to go ahead and frost the rest of these, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. Here is the finished product, and I will show you. The top is all decorated and the layers came out pretty nice. Not much seepage. And I hope you liked watching this video, and I hope to see you for my next video. Thank you and have a great day.